Hello, thanks for coming by PosterCentral.com's video blog. I'm Pete Howard, and this is a special, different, great poster, and it's 1971, and it's from Ann Arbor, Michigan. But I'm gonna, it's a great poster, great artwork by Gary Grimshaw, and all that. I'm gonna approach it from a different angle for just a second. If you take all of your rock and roll heroes, start with the top. Paul McCartney, there's a number of concert posters for. Bob Dylan, there's tons of them. Presley, there's at least a couple dozen, although they're all rare, but there's at least a couple dozen Presley concert posters known. Buddy Holly, maybe even though he had an early death, maybe as many as 10 different ones. Scadza posters, which is Led Zeppelin, The Doors, Hendrix, Janis, Stones, Who. For John Lennon, who some consider to be the #1 figure in the history of rock music, as far as, well, let's just leave it at that, there's this. I don't mean to be overly dramatic, but I didn't really, I've seen this poster for years, I didn't really realize that there are no good John Lennon concert posters as a solo act out there. He had, 5 or 6 solo albums, which were great, from 70 to 75, and another one in 80, or 1 or 2 with Yoko. But this, he didn't tour. He never got off the ground and toured. It's tragic he was thinking about touring. He was actually making plans when he was killed in 1980, but we're left with just a scattered handful of Lennon concert appearances, and they always were one-offs, guest appearances and stuff. So there's another concert poster, the Toronto Rock and Roll Revival of 1969, where the Doors were headlining, but John's not mentioned on the poster. Plastic Ono Bando's not. And here on this, you have very clearly there, as you can see, John Lennon and Yoko Ono. And of course, it was a big political rally to get John Sinclair freed. He's an activist in Michigan who got 10 years in prison for possessing 2 joints. He was sort of singled out by the feds. There was even a movie made of this concert, and they called it 10 for 2, 10 years for 2 joints. And John was enlisted in the show, and when he agreed to show up, all the ticket sales went nuts and everything like that. I'm trying to read some of my notes here. I don't always remember everything off the top of my head. Gary Grimshaw, of course, famous for doing Detroit concert posters, the Grande Ballroom, and he just did a great number of those posters, and he did this, and it's funny, it's got his name really tiny at the bottom in yellow, Gary Grimshaw, but I'm going to show you instead his signature in the corner there. See that? There he's getting due credit with a really nice silver ink signature. It's interesting how this was to get Sinclair out of prison, basically. 10 years for 2 marijuana cigarettes, give me a break. It's interesting how Grimshaw chose to flaunt it, though, in the authorities' faces by having a picture of Sinclair taking a toke on one and then marijuana leaves on either side. So, it was a real battle back then, if you think about it. This, Lennon was on Nixon's enemies list and all this stuff. But you know something? It worked. Sinclair was sprung from prison like 3 days after the show. The power of Lennon and everything. And the concert itself is really interesting. There's a lot of really good names on here. I guess I've already come in for a couple of close-ups. A lot of political activists and fun people on there and everything. What's interesting is the person who stole the show musically, though, by all accounts I saw, is not mentioned on the poster. And that was a guest appearance by a 21-year-old Michigan native named Stevie Wonder. And Stevie said, I want to get involved. I don't believe in smoking pot, but I hate what happened to this guy. How can I get involved? And they said, Stevie, you'll be our surprise guest. So almost nobody knew Stevie Wonder was coming out. He came out and did a really solid set. Lennon insisted on seeing the set. They said, no, you'll cause a stir if you go out in front of the stage. He said, give me a circle of bodyguards. I'm going to go see Stevie Wonder perform. And Lennon got out in front of the stage, and Stevie, by all accounts, just kicked butt and stole the show. His name's not on the poster. It's weird. That's kind of funny. And of course, he was about to just start, like within 3 months, releasing his string of 5 consecutive masterpiece albums. Just, Talking Book and all those Intervisions and everything. So it was quite a treat. But Bob Seger performed. He's on the poster, Michigan native, obviously. And Phil Oakes and Commander Cody, a lot of good people. And what's funny is that it was a long show with all these people, and everybody was, it was really a strong political pep rally and everything. Sinclair was in the clink, and he was the manager of the MC5, by the way, the famous Detroit rock group, and founder of the White Panthers political party. And so there were all these speeches and all these musical acts. There's good jazz people on here as well and everything. And then, but a lot of people did come to see Lennon because, let's face it, seeing an ex-Beatle in concert, seeing especially Lennon, was just rare as hen's teeth. So the ticket sales really boomed when Lennon and Yoko committed to it and gave a recording for the radio station to play saying, "We'll be there." So the place just sells out, you know, and it's full of not only politically active people, but you know, a lot of Beatle fans and stuff who wanted to see what John would do. And by all accounts, it sort of is the bookend of Stevie Wonder stealing the show. John's set was pretty disappointing. Can you imagine waiting 8 hours if you're just there for Lennon? 8 hours of speeches and jazz music and avant-garde stuff and rantings and everything. And then Lennon comes out and does a 15-minute acoustic set with backup, by the way. He had acoustic guitar. 15 minutes and no Beatles songs. Not even one bone to throw to the audience. Just like 3 political songs and then one with Yoko. And then he left, and to add insult to injury, he didn't come on until 3 a.m. So you're there from, like, you know, whatever, 7 in the evening until 3 a.m. And Lennon comes out and he does 3 songs you don't know and another one with Yoko and says goodnight and leaves. That's part of the reason, I suppose, Stevie did a normal set, if not a full set, a normal one. Part of the reason Stevie stole the show. Anyway, that's a lot of background on what amounts to a really great use of colors on this poster. Really pretty, I'll just say it. Purples, yellows, blues, greens. Great graphics. Really great job by Grimshaw. And just a lovely, lovely piece. So, hope you enjoyed seeing it. Thanks a bunch for stopping by, and we'll see you next time. Okay, bye-bye.